Hello, cuties, and welcome to ASMR tier ranking. I asked a bunch of you on Discord what video you'd like to see next. I have these all planned out. I will be doing them all. I just couldn't decide which one to do first. And y'all spoke, and that was to talk about the indie books that I've read this year. So we're going to do a little bit of tier ranking. I haven't done one of these in a long time, but I hope you enjoy it regardless. We are filming this completely on my computer, so I apologize if the quality is different, but we're experimenting, okay? Wonderful. Also, we just got done with a long sprinting day, a long reading day, and it's late, and I need to film this. And so there's a bunch more books that were added because I finished a couple today that are both indies, and that's what's going on. So, in no particular order, I believe, honestly, nope, they're not alphabetical because that one, they're trying to be alphabetical, and then they fail at one point. So we'll just get into it. So the first one we're going to talk about is A Drop of Magic by L.R. Braden. This is an urban fantasy, and I'm remembering, loading. This deals with a girl who has metalsmith magic, and is also unregistered half fae, if memory serves. And I did enjoy this. I'm not sure if I enjoyed the audiobook. I think I had an issue with the audiobook narrator, but it was all available for free on Audible. I believe they all still are. And I liked this. I thought it was good. I'd gotten it years ago, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on my all right tier. Wasn't, something that blew me out of the water, but I liked it. I didn't have any big qualms with it. I don't think I came across anything that is usually one of my red flags, like homophobia, racism, misogyny. Those will get you down in the lower levels here. I'll introduce the levels as they come up, by the way. But yeah, that's an all right. I will be continuing the series, but for now, that's where it sits. Next up is A Story Spun in Scarlet by R. Dugan, and this is immediately give them all the money. Give them it all. This was amazing. It's still one of my favorite books that I've read this year. It is chunky in the best way. There's such good character growth. There's great world building. It's epic. I can't wait for the sequel. It doesn't leave you on a horrible cliffhanger. At least I think there'll be a sequel, or maybe companions. I don't know. But it leaves on a really good note, so I'm not mad about it. And I really, really love this book. I don't know how much more I can gush about it, but it is top tier, obviously, top tier level of an amazing read for me. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Next up, we have Board Gay Werewolf. Whoa, what are you doing? So I will preface this. Some of these are self-published. Some of these are independent presses. So as long as they were not published by one of the big five or an imprint of a big five, they get here. So this was an independent publish book. I can't remember who the publisher is, but they're independent. Anyway, that I do verify. So Board Gay Werewolf was... Where would I put you? I think I will put it in all right. I had some weird moments with it. It definitely was not what I expected, but it was funny at some points, and the conclusion is awesome. I loved our character who really saved the day, and yeah, I think the thing is I just didn't vibe with our main character all that much, so hard to relate to him, and I wanted him to really step up more in the end, which he kind of did, but really our favorite non-binary character killed it. I give this all right. I don't know if it's going to be a series because it does leave off with the potential of series, but it still wraps up, again, not a cliffhanger ending, but we get stuff. All right, Deathly Magic by A.L. Kessler. This is definitely self-published. This is by a friend of mine, A.L. Kessler. I have been slowly reading the Hair Witchy Witchy series. This is only book 2. And Where do I sit with Death? We have another one of these to rank too, and they don't add up the same, in my opinion. Gosh, is this going to be all right? Okay, but here's the thing. I liked this more than these two books. It's on the level of how I feel about A Drop of Magic. Like, it's good, and I don't have any qualms. I like a lot of the characters in it. It's not quite this level for me, but if there was a mid-level between here, that's where I put it. So I am going to put it in all right. And then we'll talk about the next book. But Here Witchy Witchy is a great paranormal mystery detective series, and I do thoroughly enjoy it, and I'm very nervous to continue this. We'll talk more when we get to the third book. The next one we have is The Gay Teen's Guide to Defeating a Siren, Book 1, Sanctuary, right? I believe? No, Book 1. What's the first book called? I mean, it's The Gay Teen's Guide to Defeating a Siren. There's Sanctuary, the Siren. No, the Seeker. Seeker is the first one, sorry. Seeker, Siren, Sanctuary. That's how they go. So this is Seeker. And God damn it. I should have made another tier because this is also... Okay, yeah. No, I'll put this as shut up. This is awesome. I'm mad at one aspect of this book, and that is the ending of this book. It made me very upsetty spaghetti. It does unalive the best character. So I'm mad about that. But I did really, really enjoy this. I also loved just talking with Cody Wagner. I met him at Colorado Springs Comic-Con. He was another booth person. And I'm like, wait, I've seen this book on my Goodreads. It's been recommended to me before. So I picked up all three, finally got to them, and it's great. It is a really good series. It is about a boy who is shipped off to kind of a pray away the gay school, but it's not really that. It pretends to be that school, but it's really a school for helping queer youth under the guise of being that, so that they're actually in a safe space and not what those camps really are. And there is a paranormal element. Obviously, we have the Siren, who is infiltrating the school's, kids and adults. And there is a character who is the Seeker. And it's not our main character. That's the nice thing. It's not really a chosen one, who is able to identify basically who's got under the Siren's thrall and stuff. And it's really, really fun. I enjoy it. I'm excited to read the second book. I'm just so upset by that ending. It ripped my heart out. So be aware. All right. We have Gift of Air. I literally just read this today on stream. Gift of Air by C.L. Carhart. It is the prequel novella to the Elemental Bloodlines series, which I haven't read any of those books yet, but I read this one, and this is where I'm going to struggle a lot today. I'm going to put it in all right. Do I need to rank the all rights? Because I feel like some are like, this is better than Board Gay Werewolf. I would say that. Equal footing to maybe does Board Gay Werewolf have to move down? I might move Board Gay Werewolf down to, thank you, next. Like, it's fine. It has good moments. Oh, I need like 5 tiers. 5 different tiers for all of this. Oh my god. All right, we're moving Board Gay Werewolf down. I'm so sorry, Tony Santarella. I also don't know if I said the name of the author. I do really enjoy this, but again, this is a foggy zone for me. Okay? But Gift of Air, I liked. It's only 108 pages. It is kind of fantasy Austria in the 1950s. And it deals with people who are Teuton priests. And I think that's how you say it, Teuton priests who are magical, and there's people who have certain elemental gifts. Our main character has a gift of air, and she's protesting the church because they use this curse basically to kill her sister, who they accused of doing witchcraft, but she was just trying to save a woman in childbirth, and ended up losing her own life because of this. And so she's very anti of this church, and they're gonna try to get rid of her, and so she gets into kind of an arranged marriage. Not quite arranged marriage, but like arranged marriage adjacent to this other Teuton priest who is like, no, the priests are corrupt and I want to fix them from the inside. I had to be like, it could have moved up if it wasn't a weird age gap. I really don't like the age gap because she's still finishing school, I think university, but he's 36. So I was like, why did he have to be that old for her, who was at least in her 20s? Because it is an adult. There is a smut scene. But the smut scene was purposeful. I will say that. So it's not quite this level, but I am interested in reading the rest of the series. I looked at the synopsis of the rest of the series, though, and one of the books, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have trouble liking you. I'm gonna have trouble with one of these books, I will say, based on the premise. So, all right, next up is King of Dust by Tycho Dwellis, and I will move this right up to shut up, this is awesome. It is so fun. It's not quite my tier of give them all the money, and there's a reason for it. Please don't be offended. Tycho, I love your story. But there's certain aspects of it that I would love to see embellished more. It's not as chonky as it could be, you know? I do love these characters. I want to see more. I want this to continue. I would love to see our boy continuing on with his journey of redemption. And I need more Clarkloff in my life, obviously. But King of Dust, if you didn't know, is about a vampire overlord who regrets everything, basically. He is very angsty, broody boy who's trying to fix things because his love of his life is dead, and he's been brooding about it because it's his fault. And she reincarnates, and he's trying to fix everything for her. But don't worry, we don't deal with her much. Because I don't like that style of story where it's one person has to change for the other. He's changing for himself and moves on. And there's a really great kind of found family aspect to this group. It's a lit RPG, so you can really feel the D&D-ness of this story. And for someone who doesn't play a lot of D&D, I could still see the elements of it. So that was really nice. But yeah, I'm going to give it, shut up. This is awesome. Maiden of Artemis. I think I'm going to put this as thank you next. I read this very early in the year, and I liked a lot of aspects of it, but a lot of the rest of it didn't make sense to me. There were some weird choices, some weird threads that were left hanging that I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. I know it's the start of a series, but I really wanted more out of this for our characters, and it just didn't it didn't deliver enough. So, Merchants of Knowledge and Magic by Erica McCorkle? I can't remember. Straight to jail. I'm sorry. This is going to jail. I gotta move my screen up a bit. We're gonna move my screen up a lot, actually. I didn't estimate this as it grows. Yeah, I really didn't like this. I really don't like this. I am so confused. You guys have heard me rant about this book a lot already in the past, week. I really, really, really didn't like this. I wanted to. I went in thinking this would be very different. This was such a hypersexualized universe without being, erotic. It was very anti-allosexuals, which was very strange. The main character is ace and intersex. There's weird anatomy going on that I could not understand. There's a character with that is a walking refrigerator, but not an actual refrigerator. Their physiology makes them a refrigerator, and so they can carry meat and beer around for everyone. It's weird. There was just so much that didn't make sense. There's not a lot of emotional depth in it, and it was way too long to not have any real character arc for our main character, and I just really despised it. I was very upset with it. All right, Mountains Made of Glass by Scarlett St. Clair. Some of you may be like, why is Scarlett St. Clair on this? This is an independent book. I'm mid on this. This was I'm going to put it as thank you next. I'm probably going to read the sequel because I'm curious about the world. The world building is interesting. That's the most interesting part of this. I didn't like how thirsty the main character is, especially for someone who's basically kidnapped you and she's like ready to go from the get-go. That I didn't like. I did like how the story kind of ends up, but the progress bar in this was difficult, and it's very short. It's also a novella. It's a fantasy retelling kind of with not just Beauty and the Beast, but a lot of different fairy tales. Scarlett St. Clair mentions this, but there was like some kind of sketchy means of consent, I would say. And that didn't sit well with me. I still think her writing style is very interesting. I'm still going to give her a shot as an author with the sequel. And I have A Touch of Darkness to read for the Thirsty Vlogs. But yeah. Next up, we have Phoenix Child by Elisa McKenna Johnson. I'm going to give this to Please Seek Out More Editors. This is an interesting It's not really interesting, I'm going to be honest. Okay, it's fine. It's not very original. It has some original aspects. The circus aspect is very interesting, but I still don't know why. This is a YA urban fantasy that needs so much more developmental editing. It really, really does. And yeah. It's about a girl who wakes up on her 15th birthday and she's changed. She has like red curls in her hair and a slightly different skin tone. And she's joining a circus camp. She's also a foster kid. We never find out why she wants to join the circus camp, but lo and behold, her long-lost family is in said circus camp. And there's just so many questions, and questions that get answered at the wrong time in the book. And then there's a little bit of racism because she's having a conversation with the one Korean kid who tells her to be wary if you go to Korea about dog meat. And that was just racist. That was just a racist opinion coming through, and I didn't like that. So I would like you have sensitivity readers for one, and developmental editors for that. So yeah, please seek out more editors and then redo it. Resubmit your work. Next up is The Circus Infinite by Kong Wong. Give them all the money. Give them all the money. Give them all the money. And give them all the money. Just give them all the money. This is asexual, gay, space, circus. Oh, I read 2 circus books already. This is how you circus, I will say. This was fantastic, and I really want a sequel. It does leave off somewhat unsatisfactorily because I'm like, oh, is there going to be a sequel? And I asked it on Goodreads, and Kong Wong answered it saying the publishers don't have any plans for that. And I'm like, please just self-publish it, because he is independently published, but it didn't seem like there was enough traction. So please, everyone, go read this book and give it the traction it needs so that I can have a sequel and a reunion. Please. Okay. So anyway, I love this book. Next up, The Prince of Fishes by Susanna Rowantree. This is an all right. It's a short story. It's a retelling of The Fisherman and His Wife, if you know that. It's set in Constantinople. Old Constantinople. And that's the thing about Susanna Rowantree is all of her little fairy tale retolds are set in very interesting places. Like, I read one that was set in New Zealand. That was fun, in the 1920s. We've had India. I forget what time period it was in India for the Rakshasa's Bride. And I read one more, but now I can't remember which one I read. But anyway, they're really good. And I enjoy them. They're a very quick read. So if you're just looking for a little bite-sized snack of a book, pick those up. Right now we're dealing with the trouble with ghosts. You go to jail, A.L. Kessler. I'm just kidding. You don't actually go to jail. But you do go to jail for once again killing a fave character. I mean, the series it's getting better. It was a really good book, and it aggravated me to no end. So shut up. This is awesome. I I'm falling more in love with this series as it continues, and it's frustrating me so much. I'm so mad. I literally chased Amy down a convention hall because I didn't know she was going to be at this convention, and she showed up, and I saw her, and she saw me, and she 100-degree pivot ran, and I chased her down, and I'd do it again. How dare you? Anyway, I will be reading the next one. All right, next up, Unmasked by Kendra Merritt. Give them all the money. Give them all the money. If we want fairy tale retellings to make a big comeback, especially in like the cinematic world, please do Kendra's books. I am begging you. Anyone in the film industry, you need these books on your screen. I will take animated. Ghibli, listen to me. Studio Ghibli, please. Miyazaki, I'm telling you. The world building in all of her books are so good, and the little creatures would be so good animated. And I loved Unmasked. This is now my all-time favorite Kendra Merritt book. It is Prince and the Pauper retelling, but double the fun. Okay, we heard you like Prince and the Pauper, so we put some Prince and the Pauper in your Prince and the Pauper. That's what this book is, and it has fantastic neurodivergent rep. I felt very seen in this. I loved our love interest so much. I loved our non-human little sidekick babies. I want to hold them and squeeze them and love them forever. Yeah. Don't sleep on it. All right. The Fall That Saved Us by Tamara Juri. I feel bad about this. It's kind of in between these two. And I feel really bad about this because it's definitely better than Phoenix Child. But I am going to put it here. I think this book needed to be longer, for one, to make sense to me. That it feels very insta-love. And again, when I'm saying seek out more editors, grammatically, great. Great line edits, good proof edits. It needed development for me. A lot of the world building I didn't understand. The character development I didn't quite follow, especially with the blah 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 Angel Light character. Suddenly blanking on the Nephilim character. I needed so much more, and honestly same with our demon character. I needed so much more for them that their relationship just made absolutely no sense to me other than a physical attraction. And it really was not for me. This might work for a lot of other people, but I am a person that when I go into a book, I need the answers to my whys. I'm that old cartoon from Animaniacs. I'm Mindy, and I'm, why? Okay, I love you, bye-bye. That's me. And if I can't answer those whys in the book, I have a problem. So just know it's better than Phoenix Child, but both of them need a little extra help. The Last Phi Hunter by, suddenly blanking on the name here. Every single one of these, I'm like, this is teetering on these two as well. I'm going to give it thank you next, because, sure. Again, I had issues following the logic, and especially understanding why our main character was our main character, and why we had certain side characters got POVs. I didn't understand why they got those. That didn't make sense. We should have had there's kind of a love interest character. It's a little like the romance was not developed well, in my opinion. I needed more from her than the other characters we got. And overall, yeah, I there was some reasonings that was this character just lying in the beginning, or was that how they felt? Because the main character is not the main character. The main female character is a concubine. She's like the favorite concubine of the emperor, and she's pregnant with his child, and she runs away to not abort the child, but to save it for later, basically, when it's safe. And it's very weird. But she talks about how she's this badass. She really is a badass character. I did like her character a lot. And I was really mad she didn't get a POV. She's badass warrior, training stuff. And she fell in love with the emperor when he visited. And she says she fell in love with him. And then you find out later that the emperor is a sack of shit. So I wasn't sure why she would say that in the beginning to throw him off or whatever. I needed more explanation. I needed more conversation about her past. And our main character, I just didn't get why he was the main character. He really didn't do much. Every time he was in danger, guess who saved the day? The girl. So why wasn't she the main character? He didn't do anything. He did do nothing. So, yeah. All right. We have A Thief in the Night. Shut up. This is awesome. I became a huge KJ Charles fan. These idiots are so fun. They're just idiots. And I love them. It was fun. Even though it was fairly smutty, it was so fun. Just these two guys scamming each other, basically, in a way. Sort of. God, it was so funny. And it's a kind of a prequel, I believe, to some other characters, and I really want to see the rest of this. I want them, though, as the main characters, because I know there are sequels that involve the siblings of one of the characters, and I'm like, no, I need them. I need them, because they're idiots, and I love them. Okay. The Umbral Storm by Alec Hudson. Trying to debate. This is a bottom tiers. It's in these bottom tiers. I don't think it needed. I mean, it's kind of straight to jail. I'm so sorry if you enjoyed this book. It's straight to jail for me because it's really kind of borderline plagiarism. A lot of this was straight out of Stormlight Archives, to the point where I could easily match the scene, especially from Way of Kings, and a bit from Words of Radiance. And I don't understand why no one else is making this connection, because this was in Spiffbo. It was a finalist, I believe. I had a lot of problems with this, because every 2 seconds I was like, oh, hey, Kaladin. Oh, hey, Shalon. Oh, hey, look, it's Alucard. Oh, yeah. I just had a lot of problems with this. Also, on the front of the cover, he's holding this like Warhammer-like weapon. He never uses that. Where'd that come from? I'm confused. But again, this had a situation of you shouldn't have been the POV. There's a few instances. Now, there's multiple POVs, but some of them I'm like, why? Why were you the POV? So, I'm sorry. That one, it goes straight to jail. I'm sorry, because it's kind of plagiarism. All right, and finally we have Any Old Diamonds by KJ Charles. Once again, shut up. This is awesome. This was really fun. Again, we have these idiots. Now, granted, I like A Thief in the Night more than Any Old Diamonds, because there's some weird dynamics that happen in this book that I'm personally uncomfortable with. But it was very fun. A great time. This guy is hiring out a con artist, basically, to help ruin his evil father's life. And lo and behold, the good plot twists. I did not see this plot twist coming, I will say. And even though technically you should be able to kind of sense a plot twist and kind of build it up, that's technically a better means of experience for your readers, this was still a really good plot twist that had me going, oh, girl, what did you do? So it was very fun, and I liked it a lot. I'm definitely reading the sequels. Gosh, it's so fun. But that's it. That's our ranking. So 3 of these have made the Give Them All Their Money. I still am thinking about these books all day, every day. Definitely, I would say check out the top half. You can probably skip the bottom half. The Unthank You Next, it depends on your personal taste. I think that, like, certain friends of mine will probably enjoy Board Gay Werewolf. You know, I know a lot of the book talk girlies will probably like Mountains Made of Glass. I know that already Murphy Napier apparently was really into Last Spy Hunter. Last I looked at one of her videos, she was reading it and really enjoying it. And I was like, okay, we have different tastes. But I personally, well, I can recommend The Fall That Saved Us for others. Especially if you're into more of the sapphic fantasy romance that are spicier. It does have a lot of good moments and stuff in it, but I just, that development on it, I really can't recommend the others, though. So, there you have it. That is my tier ranking, late night tier ranking, ASMR style. Not really ASMR style. Of all the indies I've read thus far this year. I will probably do this again when I get to a certain amount of books, or when I'm like, hey, let's do that video again. That'll happen. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, you can go to my Ko-fi page and support me over there. You know, check out my stuff in the shop. You can commission me for things, or you can just support me. Be like, hey, good video. Here's $3. That's very nice of you. Very kind. Thank you very much. I'll give Mumble almond. You can also make me read a book if you want to put more indies on my list. I always enjoy reading indies so much and sharing other people's works in the community. I love the indie scene. It's where it's at, and I stand by all my indie creators, even when you maybe make a straight to jail book. You know, it's okay. We've all been there. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm very tired. But anyway, you can join the viewer choice pool. There's a link to a form. You put a book in, and that's it. And if you feel like gifting me a book, you can also do so on my little Book Fairy wish list, linked below. And follow on the socials. As usual, linked below. Okay, I'm going to go now. See you next time, cuties. Bye! God, I keep trying to yawn. It's so late. It's late.